let's talk about that first $1,000. For so many of us, it feels like the hardest mountain to climb, right? It's this huge milestone, this psychological wall. Well, today, we're not just going to climb that mountain, we're going to completely redesign the path so the climb feels almost effortless. So let me ask you a question. Do you think saving that first $1,000 is about earning more or just having more willpower? Because what if I told you the common wisdom is, well, it's kind of wrong? What if the solution isn't about grinding harder or just resisting temptation with brute force? What if the problem isn't you? The big idea we're diving into today is this. Successfully saving money has way less to do with your personal grit and a whole lot more to do with redesigning your environment. It's about becoming a choice architect, setting things up so that saving becomes the easiest, most automatic option you have. And look, this isn't just some nice theory. As the Party of One podcast points out, people at every single income level face this exact same challenge. The thing that makes the difference isn't the size of your paycheck, it's the quality of the system you build around it. So here's our game plan. First, we'll dig into why this is a design problem. Then, we'll unpack 3 super powerful behavioral hacks: the friction hack, the default effect, and what I call the momentum engine. And finally, we'll see how all these pieces come together to build a rock-solid financial foundation. All right, let's start with this core idea. I want you to think of yourself as an architect. Instead of trying to fight your own psychology, which is exhausting, you're going to design a system where your psychology actually starts working for you. You know, this whole approach is grounded in a real field of study called behavioral economics. Research from places like the Berkeley Economic Review shows that we have these built-in psychological barriers, things like decision fatigue, that make saving hard, even when we have the best intentions. The good news? We don't have to fight them. We can just design our way around them. Okay, strategy number 1, the friction hack. Now, this one's a little counterintuitive. In a world of one-click shopping and instant everything, we're actually going to do the opposite. We're going to deliberately make it just a little bit harder to spend money without thinking. Now, the goal here is subtle, but it's so powerful. We're not trying to deprive ourselves or eliminate spending entirely. We're just engineering a strategic pause. That little moment of intention, that tiny bit of space between the impulse and the action, that's where you take back control. That's where you decide if a purchase really serves your goals or if it's just a fleeting whim. So, how do we actually do this? Well, here are some super simple, powerful hacks that sources like CBS News recommend. Go ahead and delete those delivery apps from your phone. Force yourself to actually get up and type in your credit card number for every single online purchase. Unsubscribe from that daily flood of 50% off emails. And try this one. Only use physical cash for non-essential treats. It just feels so much more real when you have to hand it over. Okay, let's move on to our second strategy. While we're making it harder to spend, we need to make it incredibly, ridiculously easy to save. And we do that by using something called the default effect. Basically, making saving the automatic, no-brainer choice. And this brings us to a classic game-changing concept: pay yourself first. It completely flips the traditional model on its head. You see, most people try to save whatever is left over at the end of the month. This system makes sure your savings goal is the very first non-negotiable bill you pay. The process itself is just beautiful in its simplicity. Your paycheck hits your account, and then immediately, a preset amount, doesn't matter if it's $25 or $200, is automatically whisked away to a separate savings account. Like the Party of One podcast says, you don't even let your eyes see it. You then just live your life and budget with what's left. It's that simple. So why does this work so well? Because it completely bypasses a huge psychological hurdle: decision fatigue. Think of your willpower like a phone battery. It drains throughout the day. By automating the single most important decision, to save, you can conserve that precious mental energy for other things and make success the default path. Okay, so we've made spending harder, we've made saving easier. Now we need to fuel the journey. This is our third strategy: building a momentum engine. This is all about using the psychology of progress to keep yourself fired up and motivated. A perfect example of this in action is the whole debt snowball versus debt avalanche debate. Now, mathematically, the avalanche method saves you more money on interest, but behaviorally, the debt snowball is often way more effective. Why? Because paying off that first, tiny little debt gives you this quick, powerful win that builds incredible momentum. And hey, this isn't just a hunch. Scholarly research from places like James Madison University actually confirms it. That feeling of initial success gives you a massive morale boost. It proves to your brain that, hey, you can do this.
which makes tackling the next bigger goal feel so much more achievable.
This is exactly why small wins are the fuel for your momentum engine. When you save your first $50 or you pay off one tiny little debt, celebrate it. That feeling of progress is what builds the confidence and the habits that will carry you all the way to that $1,000 goal and way beyond.
All right, let's bring this all together. Because this isn't just about hitting some number on a screen. This is about building the foundation for your entire financial future. This number, $1,000, it's so much more than just money. It's proof of concept. It proves that your new system works. It proves that you are in control. It is your launchpad. And this launchpad has a very clear flight path. In Dave Ramsey's famous framework, this $1,000 is baby step 1. It's the critical first move that sets you up for everything that comes next, like paying off debt and building a fully funded emergency fund. Now, let's be crystal clear about the job of this money. This isn't for investing, it's not for a vacation, it's your buffer. It is the financial shield that stops a flat tire from becoming a credit card nightmare that derails all of your progress. And yes, this first step is the hardest. But you know what? It's hard for a really good reason. You're not just saving money. You are fundamentally rewiring old habits and proving to yourself that a new way of doing things is possible. You are building the most important asset you have, a system for success.
Ultimately, it really all comes down to this. The financial future you want isn't built on some distant, heroic effort someday. It's built on the small, smart, intentional design choices you make today. So the real question is, what's the first system you're going to redesign?